obviously, like you said, I do have a list of games that I'm looking forward to as well. You talked about the Celtics one. I want to harp on some other Celtics ones that I have marked on my calendar personally.
Sure.
The first game they play against the Bucks. October 28th, that MVP matchup. We've been both talking about it.
Yeah.
Tatum versus Giannis. Those games are so important because I remember last year when we look back to the Rookie of the Year race, we watched Wemby and Chet face off against each other in the second half of the season.
That's right.
And that was pretty much the game that solidified that Wemby was going to be Rookie of the Year. This is an early game. They're going to see each other 3 or 4 times throughout this season.
Yep.
But it's just a preview of what we should expect between these two. Will there be some animosity there? Will they really be as hungry as we perceive that they're going to be?
Yeah.
Then I have the Marcus Smart return. Obviously, he came back to Boston at one point last year hurt. This year, it'll be a little bit earlier in the season. December 7th, Marcus Smart returns with the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm expecting him to have some hate for Drew Holiday. You know, he's a guy who looks for any reason to have a chip on his shoulder and a reason to try to beat Boston, obviously a city that he thought he was going to be able to win a championship in.
Yep.
That's probably not going to happen now in his career. I want to see how he comes out when he has to face the Boston Celtics.
Sure. I told this Marcus Smart story so many times. I don't even know if I've told it on Banner. Have I told this Marcus Smart story of when I ran into him right after the trade? Have I told that on this show?
I don't think you have.
I've told you the story.
Yeah.
And I've told it on shows. But between TV and radio, I don't know what the hell. I mean, honestly, like I'm just a dog chasing his tail.
Travis, I could barely tell you what I have for lunch today,
I know,
man.
I know.
It's tough.
Well, listen, if I have told it on this program, first of all, and you watch all of them, and you were sending messages to Ante asking where we were, thank you. If you haven't heard this story, come on in, gather around, kids. So I'm in Watertown. Okay. And I'm at a shopping center, we'll say, right? I'm in the parking garage, just me and my son. Mm-hmm. And we leave the car, we're walking through the parking garage, and I see an abnormally tall human being with a hoodie on. Mm-hmm. And then I see next to him, without a hoodie, I recognize his face. It's Marcus Smart. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I don't know who the tall guy is, but I know that's Marcus Smart. And we're walking right at each other, me and my son and those two. Yeah. And Smart's in, like, sweats and stuff. They look like maybe they left a workout or something. Yep. So I'm walking towards him, and I had just actually left Nesson, and at the time I was suited and booted, Tay. Yep. So I say out loud, so I don't like run up on him, Marcus, Travis Thomas from Nesson, how you doing? As we approach. Yep. So guards down, he's now walking up to me, we dap each other up. Tay, this is the most melancholy human being I've ever seen in my life. Downtrodden. Yeah. He won't even look me in my eye. He daps me, but he's like looking down. Yep. And I know it's because of the trade. I can feel it. Yeah. So I go, hey, man. I'm like, hey, thanks for everything you've done for Boston. Yep. We'll always love you here. Tay, I'm talking like I'm from here. Right. We'll always love you here. You know, it's just business, man. It ain't personal. He goes, thanks, man. Looks up at me, Tay. Yep. Yep. Tears. They don't fall. Yeah. They don't fall. Tears are in the wells of his eye. They're in the ducts of his eye. Yeah. He says, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. And I go, oh, my God.
Well, I can just tell you.
Oh, my God.
I can tell you this, Travis, like from talking to you throughout these last couple months, man, you know how to say the right thing at the right time, man. So thanks, man. I probably would have had tears in my eyes too, man. I'm tearing up now just hearing you tell the story.
Hey, get yourself together. And that's what I told him. I gave him a heartfelt pump-up speech. I said, Marcus, I was lying, but I said, Marcus, Memphis is going to be good for you, man. You know? Yeah. Ja, he needs maturity. Right. He's not going to be there. You're going to be able to ball out. Y'all going to win plenty of games. I knew everything was a lie. I knew damn well Ja is a problem and still is. I knew damn well the Grizzlies wasn't going to win no damn games. And I knew damn well that Memphis would not be good for Marcus. And he wanted to be here, but I was just trying to make the brother feel better. Yeah, then he dapped my son up and he moved on.
Oh, man. All right. Well, let me tell you about this. So let's just get back on the Celtics, all right? Look, about the Celtics, too, about this schedule, this is the last thing I'm going to talk about the Celtics schedule. Then I'll tell you about some other teams around the league that I'm looking at. Yep. They have a tough schedule, man, going into January. They start off in January at T-Wolves on January 2nd.
Ooh.
Then at Rockets against Ime.
Ooh.
January 3rd in a back-to-back, right? Then they go at OKC. And then on the 5th, so then on the 7th, they play at the Nuggets. So 3 teams that they will probably could face in the NBA championship, right, in the finals.
Yeah.
And the Rockets with Ime, their former head coach, man.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the degenerate gambler in me, my ears perked up. Go back to January 2nd and 3rd. Is it Minnesota in the first leg of the back-to-back and then Ime on the second leg?
On the second leg.
In Houston, both roadies?
Both roadies, yes.
Listen, I'll be honest. I think I'm going to put everything I have in my account on the Rockets on the second leg of that back-to-back money line because, listen, the Timberwolves, man, you're dealing with Ant. You're dealing with a team that got close last year and feels like they want to go at the champs and make an example and show that, no, we got close last season, but this season we mean business. So they're gonna give everything they got against the Celtics. And, the Celtics, you got to have ego. You got to have pride as a champ. You ain't just going to let them, wax you on their home floor. That's not going to happen. Even if you lose, you're going to battle.
Right.
And then you got to go second leg of a back-to-back to H-Town and take on your former coach who wants nothing more than to rip your heart out. I mean, I already told you, I think the Rockets are going to be a playoff team. I would bet the Rockets on that night. But, yeah, that schedule, man, it's no joke. And listen, here's the reality, too, Tay, before we move on. I just think the reality is this. Now that they have that championship and that weight off of their shoulders, off of their back, my guess is, as tough as this schedule is, even if they're not the 1 seed in the East, I am not putting all the eggs in that basket like I did last season for the championship run. I thought they needed, and they ran away with it, don't get me wrong, but I came into the season saying they need that number 1 seed, and they got it. I don't believe that this year. Now, I'm not going crazy. They can't be a 6 seed, but I think if they're 2 or 3, who cares? They now know what it takes. They can go on the road. If you got to go to, I don't know, Milwaukee or Philly or New York or whichever of these geniuses think that their team's the best. If they get the 1 seed, fine. Boston can go there and kick your butt. So that, with this schedule, they're going to be battle tested again. There's no question about it.
Let me throw a couple of the ones that I have from around the league. We got some time. Bucks at 76ers opening night for those 2 teams. That's going to be that's going to be a good one. October 23rd.
Must see.
You know what I mean? You got Paul George, new to the city of Philadelphia. Maxey on his new deal. Bucks looking for revenge against everybody. Refocus Giannis and Dame. That's going to be a great one. Suns at Clippers. First game at Intuit Dome. We talked about Intuit Dome.
God, wake me up when it's over. I don't give a rat's ass about either one of those teams.
Hey, I was texting my mom telling her I got to give me a ticket to one of them games this season. I got to see that arena, man. I got to. OKC at Denver.
I like that.
October 24th. Still early in the season. That's going to be a good one. Those 2 teams fought for first place down to the wire with them and the Timberwolves. Really play similar styles of basketball. Got a lot of guys that can get it done and have 2 stars that are just, all world. And then I think this rivalry between Luka and Book is still fiery, and I want to see that October 26th. That one's going to be a lot of fun. Clay returning to the Warriors November 12th, NBA Cup game. And then last, the 2 young guys that we've been talking about. You've been talking about Wemby and being afraid of him. I've been talking about Ant, how scary he is with the basketball. 2 guys who are facing off to, really see who's going to be the young face of the league probably one day in the league. Wolves at Spurs November 2nd. I'll be locked in on my TV at that one.
I think they'll both be the face of the league. I think Ant will be the American hero, and I think Wemby's going to be the international star. And quite frankly, history will be more kind to whoever has more rings. I mean, that's what it's going to come down to. And that's why I say the league is in such great shape.